Louise Nevelson was a leading figure in contemporary American art. She was widely considered the most important woman sculptor of the last half of the 20th century.
I've always admired her work, and I just had this wonderful romance with her work.
In the mid-1980s, Georgia Pacific Corporation commissioned Louise to create a monumental sculpture out of their own plywood. This sculpture would be shown in the main lobby area at Georgia Pacific Building. Louise accepted the commission, but this time, instead of her usual black, Louise painted the wood white and thus created Dawn's Forest. In 2007, the Georgia Pacific Building began renovation plans that required finding a new home for Dawn's Forest. Whether coincidence or fate, the search for this new home fell into the willing hands of Robert Farah and his soon-to-be business partner, Faye Gold.
Well, it was an interesting bit of serendipity in that. I was invited to join a colleague of mine at a meeting at Georgia Pacific with a senior executive there, Diana Carnegie. I told her I'd like to present a proposal to handle the disposition of the piece.
When Robert Farah approached me, it was a great privilege, and I had all of this experience of knowing her work.
The hardest part in finding a new home for Dawn's Forest was the size of the sculpture. With 40-foot wall pieces, 25-foot towers, and hanging stalactite pieces, it would take a special place to house a sculpture of this magnitude.
It's hard to appreciate the scale of the piece without walking up to it in person and being around it in an environment.
It was really important to us to keep all the pieces together and have it in one location.
That location took the form of the Naples Museum of Art in Naples, Florida.
The founder and chairman of the board of the Naples Museum, Myra Daniels, came up to Atlanta to see the piece in person.
Myra knew that Dawn's Forest was meant to be in the Naples Museum.
She was taken to the Georgia Pacific, and when she saw it, I've never seen such falling in love situation of Myra and that sculpture.
I am not a woman who cries, but my eyes started to tear.
Now that a home had been found, it was time to move the mammoth sculpture. Not having the original plans, a unique team had to be found.
We had to hire a group that was well educated in this type of sculpture, and they actually did some x-rays and went through quite a process in order to determine how to dismantle.
I knew about Wegman Associates and Miles Wegman because Miles has been a friend of mine for more than 30 years, and Miles had been originally part of the team that put the Nevelson piece in place in 1986.
Robert was hoping that the disinstallation would be a little easier than it was because of our putting it together, but the plans and the attachments were given back to Georgia Pacific and were not able to be located.
The number one concern was finding out how it was put together so we could do the reverse and pull it apart.
In late June of 2010, Dawn's Forest was disassembled and moved to Naples, Florida, where it was reassembled in early July. For those who worked at Georgia Pacific, it was a bittersweet moment.
There are employees who have been here since that time, and it just has become a part of the culture, something they see every day when they come to work. So I think it was a big change for people.
However, for the Naples Museum, it was the beginning of a new era.
To have it in a prominent location like this, it makes it clear that this institution is serious about their trajectory and clear about the collection that they want to assemble.
It went from pieces of white wood to a piece of artwork that just blossomed within this facility.
I think what's more important to me than anything, you know, we have 44,000 children come to our complex every year. And to see these children walk into the dome and their eyes get bigger than they were when they passed the Botera, and they want to know, what is this?
I felt it was a privilege, and Robert did as well. And we worked very, very hard on making sure that this inanimate object, that it was happy.